So, Tomasz, thank you for spending time with us here today. You are one of the leading investors in this region for quite some time. And for those of you that are not from this region, don't know about much about MCI's history, it would be great if you can give us a quick 30 seconds on how MCI got started and the different investment vehicles you have now.
Sure. Yeah, I'm relatively long in the, let's say, internet IT sector. I started around 85, 86 with the software programming and with the hardware manufacturing. We've been supplying floppy disk drives for the home computers in mid-80s. And in 90s, I built like the largest PC manufacturer in Poland. At JTT, we've been competing with the Optimus as one of the two major PC manufacturers in Central Eastern Europe. And then I realized that there's a lot of changes going on regarding software and internet, and that is like a huge opportunity, huge trend. And I had a chance to meet Mr. Sun from SoftBank, yes, currently the most successful internet investor globally. And he also made this transition from being an entrepreneur to being an investor. That's how SoftBank was started. And he was super successful in the late 90s. And I thought, okay, maybe I should try, maybe I should become a venture capital investor. And I decided to, it's already 18 years or 19 years when I'm running MCI. Basically, 19 years ago, MCI was created. Management consulting investment, that was the concept. Initially, I invested like $1 billion of my private money. We raised investors through the pre-IPO, IPO on the Warsaw Stock Exchange. Altogether, we raised around $10 million. And we started to invest our first fund. That was 99. The fund was invested till 2002. It was mostly a venture strategy focus, like basically doing startups and early stage investments. What was good, we finally realized 2.88 cash on cash with this first fund, which for the internet bubble time and for the first time investor, it was not easy. I think what was the key to our success was that I was an entrepreneur. Basically, I was able to help to build these companies with the founders. I mean, because the portfolio in the beginning looks very bad. It was a lot of blood, etc. And let's say if you look at this
portfolio,
a pretty
bloody time.
2000, 2001, you thought, why the hell I'm doing that? Yes, but because I had this experience of building the companies by myself, I simply was very deeply involved in this portfolio, and finally we made it successful. And yeah.
So now you have multiple investment vehicles within MCI.
Yes.
What are the different areas are you investing in?
Yes, like we transitioned from venture capital to growth capital and to buyouts and to credit. Basically, that's like 4 areas which we are running. We have altogether like $600 million at the moment of assets under management. It's mostly captive. Basically, we are recycling money. And we still do about 10% of our assets are close to the venture capital strategy, or its venture capital strategy, which makes us the most active VC investor in Poland and probably in CE. Yeah, that's about our let's say profile in terms of the investments. That for VC we do the CE market. Like basically we are not trying to be the pan-European investor for the VC. For the growth capital, we basically target the European market. We have very balanced structure with about 60–70% of assets in our growth fund being invested in Western Europe and Israel. In a buyout fund, we again focus primarily on Central Eastern Europe. And the buyout fund is doing up to 50 million euro equity buyouts. We are looking for the digital transformation component or digital disruption component in our buyouts. And credit is purely focused on a mezzanine and a junior debt type of financing. Our, let's say, latest deal was a debt financing to Allegro acquisition, which happened in Poland last December, January. Yeah.
That's great. And you could, at this point, you could be investing anywhere in the world. What motivates you to keep investing in the region that you know so well? And what would you say to other investors and entrepreneurs that are from this region and have gone elsewhere but haven't really come back yet?
I think we have to be specific on all these investment strategies. I think in terms of credit, the market is very empty. There's a very good supply-demand situation. Basically, there are two, three active players in the mezzanine financing. We are the only one local active player. we are specialists for internet, that we can do the mezzanine for internet type of assets, that we have a very good supply-demand situation, much better than in Western Europe, probably States, etc. In terms of buyouts, I believe the small, mid-sized buyouts market is amazing in Poland and Central Eastern Europe because the region is growing. Still, we have an EU risk. I mean, that's not Russia, that's not Turkey, that basically we don't deal too much with the political crises and macroeconomic crises. The currency risk is quite limited. I mean, you don't see too much fluctuations between the Polish zloty and euro, etc., similar to Czech koruna and the other regional currencies. That I think the macroeconomic situation is fantastic. And again, supply-demand situation for the small, mid-sized buyouts is very good because usually the global capital, they are chasing the much bigger buyouts. It's usually 500 million euro, 200 million euro, and there is like very few operators in a small ticket buyouts, yes? And the stock market, especially in Poland, which was for many years our major competitor, it somehow disappeared for the small IPOs. It's still okay market for the large IPOs, like 250 million euro, but if it comes to 100 million euro valuation, there is not so much competition coming from this IPO scenario, which is alternative to the small or mid-sized buyouts. And I think. And then you see a massive trend of this digital transformation, like every mid-sized companies, they have a touch of the digitalization, yes, and we are specialists for the digitalization. That I believe this is a fantastic strategy. It's our best performing strategy. It's good liquidity because after 2-3 years you are able to exit the assets, and I think it's a fantastic opportunity in Central Eastern Europe. Probably also Germany in the future. We may concern Germany in the next 3 years to expand because I think also small buyouts in Germany are not very well served, yes, because most of the funds they are trying to do the bigger deals. In terms of growth capital, we don't have a specific focus on CE, but I have to say we have the best returns in CE. And that's, again, the reason is probably supply-demand situation. There is a very few investors, probably there are only 2 investors in growth capital in Central Eastern Europe. It's us and it's Rockaway. And you have all this supply of these venture capital funds building the companies. They need to exit, yes. That we did a fantastic returns from growth capital. It was Invia, Czech Republic, 11 times money, MOL CZ, Czech Republic, 4 times money. We have a fantastic growth capital portfolio in Poland, Answer, the kind of ASOS, Zalando of Central Eastern Europe, 80% growth rate, Morele, which is currently the largest first B2C e-commerce in Central Eastern Europe. It's together with Pigo, it's close to 300 million euro, growing in a profitable way very nicely. We have Frisco, which is the leading grocery e-commerce. That this is a really good market for the late stage growth capital investments. Yes, venture capital. We believe that to do venture capital, you need to be close. Yeah, it's not like you can do investments from Poland in United States or too far from you. That basically you need to stay close to your region. We know Central Eastern Europe, primarily we know Poland. I think there are a couple of good cities around Poland like Berlin, Stockholm, Tallinn, Prague, where you can source the deals. And that's where we focus on. We think that doing investments in Spain or France and to monitor these investments, work with entrepreneurs on early stages could be too difficult. It's possible for the growth capital, probably it's possible for buyouts, but for venture capital you need to stay close to your investments. That's why we still continue with venture capital investments in Central Eastern Europe, especially in Poland.
Gotcha. So we have very little time left, but speaking of being close to your investments, Chinese capital is coming in and set its sights on Europe. What are your thoughts about Chinese investors coming into funds and then direct investments in Europe?
At the moment, we don't see them putting money into the funds. There are initial discussions, but this is not basically their style, that they want to be a pure LP. But they're becoming a more and more important gateway for exits. We already did a $100 million exit, which was partially backed by the Chinese large conglomerate. We are running a couple of discussions with the Chinese investors at the moment for various portfolio companies, and they like a lot the region, because for them it's like a legend that when China had this access to Europe through the Central Eastern Europe, China were doing quite well. It's called Jedwabny Szlak. Silk Road, yes, that they have like an emotional approach towards that, and I think China investors will have more and more impact to the situation in Central Eastern Europe. Also for the startups in Poland and Central Eastern Europe, China is a huge opportunity. I think it's probably better right now to spend time in China than in the United States.
Yeah. So what I mean, we have 20 seconds left here. So what are the changes in investment trends you're seeing in this region?
I think there's a big effort of Polish government and to basically boost venture capital and quality of startups in Poland. And I think it's great. I think there will be something left from that huge effort. It's important. The quality of startup is constantly improving over the last 15 years. We see a couple of unicorns. I mean, Allegro, CD Projekt, probably a couple of more candidates coming to the Polish market. We see also the first-time investors stepping to the Polish startups, finally. Poland is not the number one. I mean, there's Estonia, there's Czech Republic, which already had that journey. But I think we have a pretty good chance to catch up and be like hopefully top one startup economy in the region, yes? Because of the size of the country and because of the quality of programming skills. In the meantime, we need to improve leadership, yeah?
Very good. Well, thank you for that. I think we can keep talking, but unfortunately our time is short. It's a pleasure and a privilege. Thank you very much.
Thank you.